헬로.
교수님, 헬로, 교수님 안녕하세요.
그래, 잘 지내고?
네네네, 잘 지내고 있습니다. 네,
캘리포니아?
네네, 아니, 햇빛이 강해가지고,
어.
네, 잘 지내시죠?
뭐, 맨날 똑같이 뭐, 바쁘게 살고 있어. 내가 보통 때보다 조금 늦게 와갖고, 잠깐만, 이거 좀, 세팅 좀 하고.
네네네.
김 교수 어떻게 잘 지내?
네, 잘 지내고 있습니다. 학기 중이어서
아,
열심히, 네.
거기가 캘리포니아 어디야?
그, 플러턴 지역인데, 오렌지 카운티 쪽입니다.
오렌지 카운티.
네네.
거기가 우리가 알고 있는 거기 뭐지?
포모나, 네.
아, 포모나하고, 그때 켈리민 교수는 어디더라? 포모나인가? 칼폴인가?
네네, 맞을 거예요. 네, 근처, 거의 한 차로 한 1시간 정도 거리에 있습니다.
다 가까이 있네. 가까이 있어도 뭐
네.
만나기 어렵죠. 뭐.
네.
어, 여전히 논문 열심히 쓰고 있고.
열심히 하고 있는데, 쉽지
어.
않습니다.
아니, 5월에 결혼한다고 하지 않았나?
저 2월에 결혼하는데, 네,
어.
청첩장 가지고 제가 5월에 한번 인사드리고
그래. 어, 축하해.
감사합니다.
어, 둘 다 훌륭하게 교수가 돼서 좋네.
이렇게 봐주셔서.
어, 세월이 한 10년 됐나?
저 석사 때요.
어,
거의 한 8년 정도 된 것 같아요. 제가
야,
2016년에 이제 시작해서.
어,
속- 참.
참 성공적으로 잘했어. 예.
근데 이게 지금 수업인 건가요?
응?
석사 박사
이
수업인 건가요?
석박사 다 들어있고, 또 우리 그 호텔 관광대 교수, 아니 저 학생뿐만 아니라 경영대 또 뭐 체대 또 뭐 공대도 좀 있고 그래서 뭐 근데 다들 알고 들어왔기 때문에 뭐 크게 걱정할 필요는 없고 세미나니까 그냥 좋은 아이디어도 얻고 하는 연구 방법도 좀 듣고 뭐 이런 거고 외국인
네.
학생들이 꽤 있어 그래서 이제 어, 시작은 공식적으로 이제 영어로 할 거고
네네네.
우리 누구야 케빈 소는 잘 있고
아, 네, 여전히 바쁘게 지내고
여전히
있습니다.
바쁘게
네. 구철모 교수님이 바쁘게 엄청 프로덕티브하게 지내시는 것 같아서 네. 페이스북 보고 그러면 네.
나는 케빈 소 같은 사람 때문에 여- 그 열심히 살지 무섭게
아,
열심히 사니까 어이 야 대단하다 그러고 이제
교수님 대단하세요.
옛날에 그 10년 전보다 더 열심히 사는 것 같아요.
또 이제 제자들도 많고 맡으신 직책도 많다
어,
보니 더좀
제자들이 또 뭐 하나 둘씩 교수가 돼가고 있어갖고 우리 김현수 교수 같이 훌륭한 사람이 되니까 또 뭐 내가 아 같은 이제 리서처로서 정신을 차려야지 아무리 잘못하면 가겠다.
항상 배우고 있습니다, 교수님.
예. 자, 우리가 이 공식적으로 이제 시작하고 요거 지금 요거 소개 내가 하고
네네,
그다음에 우리 김 교수가 시작하시면 됩니다.
알겠습니다.
Okay, hello everyone. Every Wednesday morning. This is a happy moment for me. I don't know for you, but I always wish you to have a good, great time, especially a person who willing to write a good paper. As you know, we are inviting very good professor all over the world. And today, very specially, I'm inviting Professor Kim Hyunsu from California State University, Fullerton. He was my master degree students 8 years ago in Kyung University, and she got a PhD in US and then finally become a professor in the US, California State University, Fullerton, which is very good school. And I'm so proud of his achievement and progress. So I'm asking him to share his idea and expertise and the experience for you, especially is person who want to become a professor in the future. Okay, as usual, please turn on your video for him. This is a class, so it's not a volunteer, seminar. So this is class time. So I want you, to my students, to open your face and interaction with the presenters. Okay, this I basic request for you. Okay. I'm going to introduce Professor Kim Hyunsu for you in Berkeley, and I'm going to deliver stage to Kim. Okay. Okay. Once again, I'm happy to provide regular research seminar for our students. I'm going to introduce Professor Kim Hyunsu for you, and his name is Kim Hyunsu, and he is currently served for California State University, Fullerton, Assistant Professorship, Department of Management, College of Business Economics, California State University, Fullerton, USA. He earned the PhD from University of South Carolina, and MS and BA, Kyung-hee University, especially our department. And his research interests focus on customer journey, artificial intelligence, and experiential consumption in hospitality tourism. Please welcome Professor Kim Hyunsu. Stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Koo, for your wonderful introduction. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah.
Google. Yeah. All right.
Okay, good. Very good.
Can you see it and can you clearly hear what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's get started. Good morning, everyone. So as Dr. Koo briefly mentioned, I'm Kim Hyunsu, or I'm Hyunsu Kim. I'm assistant professor in the assistant professor in the management department at California State University. So I'm actually extremely honored and humbled to share my research titled Customer Journey and Artificial Intelligence. So before diving into my presentation, I'm going to briefly introduce my background. So although Dr. Koo mentioned, so I did my bachelor's and master degree at Kyung-hee University. And in particular, I did my master degree in convention and exhibition management. And during that time, I was able to learn a lot from Dr. Koo. So I sincerely appreciate it. So, and then in 2018, I start my PhD at the University of South Carolina in hospitality management. And after 4 years, after went through the COVID-19 situation as well, and after complete my PhD dissertation, so since the fall of 2022, I've started my position as assistant professor in the current institutes. So yeah, let's look at it, my research areas and all other things. So before that, so if you have any question, please stop me and feel free to ask me. So I'm happy to interact with you and I'm happy to answer, based on my knowledge. So this is my presentation outline. So I walk you through from my 3 research area and 1 particular research idea, which is a customer touch point. And then at the end, I'm going to share my current ongoing research with you, which is about the AI and artificial intelligence, whether AI can replace human in a subjective and objective task in the context of the back of house operation of restaurant. So which I'll explain in more details. So here's my first agenda that I'm gonna present. So while I would like to say that I'm a consumer behavior researcher, I have a three particular research area that I've been extremely passionate about, as you can see: experiential consumption and customer journey and artificial intelligence. So how are hospitality contact tourism settings different from other business or service industry? Have you ever considered and thought about these questions? How are our contacts different from other business or service industries, such as the insurance, finance, or banking, or other areas? So my answer would be like that. Our experience in hospitality and tourism is episodic. Then what does that mean, episodic? When you think about our contacts, such as the restaurants, hotels, cruise, theme parks, and airlines, so those experiences are unique and memorable and not happen frequently, which are totally different from our daily consumer product experiences, such as the buying a bottle of water, purchasing shampoo, or going grocery shopping. So hospitality and tourism companies sell experiences, and customers like us consume experience. And more on that, I'm interested in the episodic journey. Then what does that mean, journey? A customer like us usually go through a series of the decision-making process from the very beginning, pre-purchase, such as the need recognition and considering, such as, oh, do I need that? Or that meets my needs and wants. So, and then purchase situation and service encounter. And at the end, pre-purchase. And so those are throughout this entire journey. So each individual evaluate their experience. So customer journey do not only consider a particular stage, for example, service encounter, but also incorporated other stage, such as the before service encounter and after service encounter. So throughout this episodic journey, I'm interested in various marketing stimuli. So one of the marketing strategy that I've worked on is artificial intelligence. So for example, many hospitality and tourism companies have actively adopted AI-powered service robots to serve customers or recommend hotels or tourism destination. So I would like to deeply know the effectiveness of AI adoptions and applications in this episodic journey. So later on, I will share my most recent research in the back of house operation of restaurants as to whether AI can replace human in a recipe creation, which is considered subjective and intuitive task, while food production, such as the cooking, can be considered objective task. Okay, so based on the three areas that I'm interested in, I'm gonna more focus on one particular topic, customer touchpoints. So what is customer touchpoint? Before explaining the concept of it, I'm gonna give you an example. As you can see the pictures from the very beginning, pre-consumption and consumption and post-consumption. So let's imagine then you plan to visit California for a trip or to see me or to participate in conferences held in California. So what would be the first thing you might need to do if you need to visit California? So in the very first thing you might need to do, check by looking at the online reviews where you can directly communicate with someone who have been there, or so this is what you can do by checking in, and you can directly check in some third-party company, TripAdvisor or other company, and based on the multiple moments and stimuli, which gradually forming your perception, right? We have some pre-existing perception, even we alive in a destination or places in the pre-purchase situation, but still during this stage, there are multiple touch points affect our evaluation and perception, sometimes increase our expectation or decrease our expectation based on the online reviews or based on looking at the post or social media information. And then once you arrive in the places and restaurants and check in hotels, so you start comparing your pre-existing perception and the actual evaluation, and then you start building your experience. This is what you can imagine and you can actually encounter in this situation. And then after that, post evaluation, after you trip around 1 week or 2 weeks or even longer period of time, after you fully enjoy the moment, and then it's time to go back your home. So what would you like to do? So you may want to share your information with your friends, or you can even share your post on your social media, and also you can talk with other people as well. So as you can see, and then what if I ask, how was your trip in California? So sometimes it's a little bit difficult to just simply answer in one sentence, right? So usually some people say it was good or it was bad. However, as I just briefly mentioned, from a series of the consumption and episodic journey from pre-consumption and consumption and post-consumption, you actually encounter numerous touch points and which can individually and collectively affect our experiences. So that's what I want to do. So that's why one of my research projects was to define and conceptualize and develop the measure of item of customer touch point, which I will explain in more about. Okay.
So Dr. Kim, before we proceed further, I just one the curious question. You only focus on intangible products such as Airbnb, restaurant, hotel context, not the utilitarian product, right?
You mean the hedonic, utilitarian?
Okay.
Tangible?
Yeah, tangible and intangible. So usually our classification we are pursuing on research is restaurant, hotel, Airbnb, and sort of things which we call that is intangible product in our hospitality context. In contrast, we are also deal with utilitarian product, such as the goods and especially utilitarian goods sort of things. So you are not targeting on the utilitarian goods, only service area, right?
Yeah, so thank you for bringing this interesting question. Yeah, which really true. I think if I select one particular context, such as the hotel, Airbnb, restaurant, so each context include not just only intangibility, but also tangibility as well. So yeah, definitely in the hotel context. So the core service would be tangible products such as the hotel rooms and their hotel amenities. However, intangibility also can be considered, such as how employees treat you, which is the intangible services, and also why you communicate with other customers. So which also influence our experience as well. So that's why service experience and customer experience include not just only subconscious and intangibility, but also the tangibility as well.
Very good. Okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so like I mentioned, based on the numerous touch points, so before I define and conceptualize and conceptual domain, I briefly introduce and explain the origin of the concept. So I believe most of you familiar moments of truth, right? If you have ever taken any the basic marketing courses, you may heard the moment of truth, the particular moment. So, but you know what? That term is originally from the metaphor, from the bullfighting between a bull and the bullfighters. So they particularly focus on a particular moment, which is the bullfighting between the two actors. So the two effectively examine and explain the fighting moment. The Richard Norman used the term moment of truth at the very first time from his book titled Service Management, published in 1984. And then, so I believe these books would be much more familiar to you. And then building on the idea of the bullfighting, Jan Carlson, the former president and the CEO of the Scandinavian Airlines, popularized the business use of the moment of truth in particular airline context. So as you can see, there are numerous moments of truth. We cannot imagine, right? More than 50 million stimuli and moment of truth in a particular context, in the airline context. So he explained that a specific encounter affect our evaluation by mentioning that more than 50 million of moment of truth are which ultimately decided whether airline will succeed or fail as a company. However, there are some limitation of this definition, because as I just mentioned, the customer touch point and the moments there are across they need to consider various stages, not just only particular moment. It could be service encounter, but also pre-purchase and post-purchase, as well as various type of touch point as well, not just only how employee treat you and how the airlines accommodation or services will be look like, but there are multiple aspects need to be considered. And also this, the basic concept is mainly from managerial perspective, how company made customers satisfied. They ignoring the customer perspective, how they can active in the service encounter and the airline context. So because as you can see, customer can gradually and increasingly interacted with not just only the employees, but also other customer through multiple channels, which sometimes company cannot control, such as the online reviews. They tag each other, which company cannot control, but by exchanging information, customer build and also increase their experiences, right? So those limitation motivate me to conceptualize and define and develop the measurement customer touch point from a customer perspective. So based on the idea of moment of truth, touch point was defined from a brand communication process, mainly focusing on how brand or company deliver their message and promote their product and services. So based on a previous study, they define it as any verbal and or non-verbal incidents. So however, the initial conceptualization and definition of touch point is mainly those are initiated by brands to just satisfy and meet customer needs and wants. So my focus is how customer perceive different moment of truth, different customer touch point. So that's why more recent study from mainstream marketing gradually define customer touch point from a customer perspective based on the service dominant logic. So I'm not sure if some of you familiar this logic, service dominant logic. So if your focus is the customer behavior and customer experience, this logic is very important because it tremendously changed the entire relationship between the customer and the employee. So as you can see, this general idea initially suggests from the Bargo and Lush from the Journal of Marketing in 2004. It's a long time ago. However, they keep revising and suggest multiple aspects until now. The original ideas, I will also explain that, but to initially define the customer touch point can be explained through the lens of the service dominant logic. So this logic, like I mentioned from Bargo and Lush, so they provided 7 fundamental propositions how traditional goods based on understanding can be shipped to service-based ecosystem, in particularly by highlighting the rules of customer as a co-creator. So customer is no longer a passive recipient. They want to be active co-creator. They want to build. They want to demand and they want to say what they want. So they want to actively engage in the entire service journey. So this is the basic concept of the customer touchpoint based on a service domain logic. So based on the initial idea from the moment of truth and the key theater foundation of service domain logic. So I published a paper to conceptualize and develop the items and validate it. So published from tourism management. So however, this topic is not about how to develop and how to validate the skills. So I'm more focused on, before I focus on the conceptualization and the conceptual domain. So I briefly introduced this, the entire process, what I did, and then move to my original focus on conceptualization and conceptual domain. So as you can see, there are long journey to develop and the conceptual domain and conceptualization by following the 5 process, generating idea and purifying the items and finalize items, and also establish the structure based on considering the higher order structures by using, for this study, there are more than 70 or more than 40 different experts involved in to refine and to refine our initial items. And also we collected data from a different context to validate our findings. So, however, today's focus is the conceptualization and the definition of the customer touch point. So at the end, we conceptualize and we suggest the 6 different conceptual domains, so which I will focus more on. So to do so, we also invited the well-established scholar based on our initial the draft of the conceptualization and the dimension of definition. So at the end, 9 scholars who published customer experience and customer touchpoint in the mainstream marketing and the hospitality and tourism, they provided meaningful and productive feedback. And then after we revise, and then, so we finally identify the key dimension and also suggest the 4 different key proposition, which I also explain in more about that. So simply put, as you can see, customer touch point is we frame it as a reflective first order and formative second order construct. So which is the type 2 model. So I don't want you to confuse. So this is the second order formative construct, and there are 6 different the first order reflective first order. So that means each dimension of customer touchpoint, such as the environmental stimuli and brand initiative communication and core service interaction. So those are individually formed the customer touchpoint. However, due to their higher order structure, so because of the type 2 model, they do not need to be correlated. And also the customer touchpoint can also happen without each item, each order. And also it can be also incorporate all the things. So those are the key characteristics of the reflective first order and formative second order constructs. So before we move, I briefly introduce each dimension of the customer touchpoint, which are our important. So environmental stimuli, I believe this is very familiar to you, such as the ambience or environmental stimuli. So simply put, this is about the physical characteristic and surroundings, such as the facility and air quality and smell and cleanness. Customer observe with interacting with a company. This is about the customer environmental stimuli. And then brand initiative communication, which is the one-way communication from a brand and to its target group using a brand control marketing mix, such as the pricing or package or sending a message or advertising or promotion or website. And then the third one is the technological interface. So any technology a company uses to interact or manage relationship with customers, such as the contactless payment or self-order kiosk, or online tablet reservation, or QR code. So those are all considered technological interface. And customer to employee interaction is direct or indirect interaction with customer to employee interaction. And customer to interaction is about customers exchange with information or emotion with the other customer. And the core service interaction is mainly about the direct or indirect interaction with customer have with the service providers core service, such as the food and beverage in a restaurant context, and in a hotel context, the hotel rooms are considered the core service encounters. So yeah, those are the key dimension of the customer touch point. And again, those touch points can happen across the entire customer journey, not just only the service encounter, but also pre-purchase and post-purchase. And also it does not happen all the things. So one touch point can happen or activated, which can affect our experience.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
Very good classification, and you linking to from the environment to the internal department and employee interaction and customer and the service core service interaction. I probably you like when you mentioned that it's not cover overall entire process of a company, external and internal. The one question is okay. Do you include something like the department by department interaction? Because touch point probably you make contact with the customer to customer, but that interaction should be connecting to the back office, which connecting to other department. So that's my first question. Second question is interaction is actually interact by processing with opposite partners. The interface is kind of it's a bit different. Is kind of a design and then kind of to do something in a very surface way. So is there any conceptual difference between interface or interaction? Two questions.
Yeah, so thank you for your question. So the first question, I would like to clarify your question about the department to department. That is mainly interact with their communication. So
probably interaction by interaction, probably customer to employee means customer may request to employee who are working with in the service sector area. And the service sector area can receiving that kind of service request from customer through the interface, and then they have to do something work with other employee and department from the department.
Other department, so is there any way that customer can communicate with other department? So which is also considered employee interaction?
Yes, customer may request at first to the employee through the employee customer interaction, and the employee should go back to the other employee who are other department. So, have you ever considered that kind of interaction, employee to employee interaction? Means
yeah, I understand what you mentioned. So which seems also important, employee to employee interaction. But yeah, so based on my understanding, employee to employee or employee to employer relationship is more organizational decision and organizational process. So that's why at a customer level, we do not easy to perceive and recognize their decision-making process. So that's why, so we do not consider, but which also could be also important perception because back of the operation.
You only focus on customer point of view.
Yes.
To the firm level. not the internal form level.
Yeah, because that's
I
why we
understand.
define the term the customer touch point from a customer perspective.
Okay, I see.
And then, yeah, second question, you mentioned technological interface. Yeah, so actually this is about the interaction when you use the various technologies such as the contact-based payment or self-order kiosk, how which can affect our experience. So this is about what we want to measure.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then based on the six conceptualization, six conceptual domain, we suggest the four fundamental proposition to conceptualize and to define the newly developed ideas, customer touchpoint. So the first proposition is customer touchpoint facilitate and leads customer experience formation, because numerous moments and numerous touch point across the various stage, at the end, ultimately, it affects our experience. This is our first proposition. And the second one is the customer touch point include lots of interaction, like I just mentioned, not just only employees, but also technology devices, and also brand-owned or non-brand-owned control, such as the online reviews and communicated with other customers as well. And also the third one is the customer touchpoint interface offer connect facilitate by the human technology and the similar objective in a digital or physical area. So it does not need to be a particular interface and face-to-face interaction, because when you think about pre-consumption situation, we have access to numerous information online. We do not need to visit to see if whether their services are good or not. So we can directly get access all the information online. And then the last one is the multiple customer touch point occur during the pre-consumption and consumption and post-consumption stage of an episodic journey. Yeah, like I mentioned, this is the core concept of the episodic journey, not just only the particular moment, but also entire journey, including the pre-consumption and consumption and post-consumption. Okay. So based on the general ideas of it, I apply the customer touch point and also across the episodic journey. I conducted the series study based on my interest. So this paper published from IJCHM with work with my colleagues and advisor during my PhD. So this study adopted the multi-study approach. So first study used the online reviews, more than 500,000 online reviews from Airbnb. So we can capture different stage, for example, pre-consumption stage and post-consumption stage and post-consumption stage, and then how those different formation affect their evaluated judge. And then study two, we used the online survey was adapted to improve the reliability and the validity of finding. One of the very interesting finding is the pre-consumption stage. Information seeking negatively affect value for money. Can you guess why information seeking?
Information seeking.
So information seeking is you are very passionate. You want to learn more about that before you visit. So after you gather numerous information and all other things, your expectation increase and grows and grows and grows. However, in reality, so our actual experience do not usually meet our expectation. So that's why if people gather lots of information and they actively do information seeking, they are likely to negatively affect their value for money because they usually have a higher expectation. So that's why in the pre-consumption stage, if customer have lots of information seeking, their evaluation usually negative. So this is
However, when we are information seek for a certain product and service, we may have an expectation and kind of a fantasy or imagination sort of things
right.
in pre-consumption stage.
Right.
It's kind of a projected value for money, which move myself forward because of that fantasy, because of that imagination, because of that expectation.
Right.
So actually, when we are in the consumption stage, actually buying for product, buying something service, we are subjectively and conceptually value for money. But this value for money is coming from the expectation. Okay, so you put this value for money in the middle, which is right and very legitimate. But probably we need something kind of another dimension in the middle of the valuation judgment. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, that's also very fair. So first, we further close look at the online reviews. Why people at the end literally evaluate their value for money, because they mentioned that. So I spend too much time to learn and to build my expectation. However, they do not expect my expectation. So that's why they feel disappointed, or they because they already put enough time. So that's why information seeking is a two side of the coin, because if the service provider meet or exceed their expectation, then they are loyal to a brand and company. However, in reality, it's not easy. So that's why information seeking is very difficult dimension that companies considerate whenever they provide information, such as they need to provide the accurate and clear description to reduce any discrepancy or other situation that provided some different information.
Okay.
Okay. And then another study also is looking at the AI-powered service robot published tourism management. So this is about mainly the one particular moment service encounter at a hotel context. So we adapted two different humanoid robots, Pepper and other robots. So this study have a unique angle because we adapted social exchange theory. Previous study mainly focusing on the one perspective, negotiated exchange. So if you give something, then as a transactional perspective, other people expect that other people will give some other feedback or other things. So this is about the negotiated exchange from a transactional perspective. And however, this study, as you can see, the middle part is how AI and service robot evoke some emotional and reciprocal exchange, not about the transaction or even
calculating
based on what I pay. So it's about whether AI make you feel happy, or whether we as a human can build any rapport or trust. What factor ultimately leads to this reciprocal exchange? So we identify the three key attributes: perceived intelligence, perceived social presence, and perceived social interactivity, which affect this reciprocal exchange attributes such as the rapport, trust, and uniqueness neglect, which helps to build the usage intention. So this is what we also do, considering the customer touch point and the entire customer journey and episodic journey. Okay, so move to the last part, my recent ongoing projects. So artificial intelligence. So are you all familiar with this type of situation where self-kiosk or service robot serve you in Korea? Not sure.
We we are not familiar with this kind of context. Actually,
Mm-hmm,
I think the Chinese restaurant do this kind of a service for their customers
mm-hmm,
a lot.
mm-hmm,
In Korea, is probably experimentally a few restaurants adopt, but not typically.
mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, and also COVID-19 situation facilitate this type of AI adoption because COVID-19 pandemic is very highly contagious disease, and they all the company want to extremely reduce any touch. So that's why they aggressively and actively adopted this type of technology as well. And yeah, and also based on this understanding and from an academic perspective, so most of study focus on front of house operations, such as the service encounter, how service robot interact with AI, how service robots serve you. So that's why many study looking at if AI have a human-like appearance, or if AI make a smile, if AI treat you like friendly, then we feel good and we feel it seems they treat me well, right? So, however, most of study mainly focus on the front of house operation, which
Mm.
is pretty understandable, right? But this is not my interest. So I will also explain about that. So before look at my area, so I would like to highlight the importance of AI. Wow, why how the lots of hospitality and tourism company increasingly adopted AI, as you can see this surveys. So numerous sources indicate that AI is increasingly becoming prevalent in hospitality and tourism. So for example, as you can see the survey, 76% of restaurants incorporate cutting-edge technology such as the robot chefs and fully autonomous kitchen, and also various operation areas such as the food preparation and inventory management, and also as well as administrative areas such as the employee management and performance analytics. It sounds cool, right? So
Mm.
it seems AI is playing an essential role in reshaping the operational landscape of restaurant. Then, how about the back of operation? I just explained the front of office, front of operation is which is pretty understandable and familiar, right? So I give you very interesting story and also scenario example as well. So one of the fast food chain restaurant, Dallas-based Belda Taco, launched first ever, as you can see, this ChatGPT taco, yeah, in 2023 to come up with the tasty taco idea, which is considered recipe creation. So I want to try, but because it's Dallas, so I unfortunately I try. But they use the ChatGPT to come up with the taco ideas. That means definitely is the back of operation, right? Recipe creation. And then as you can see, the second one, Coca-Cola introduced Coca-Cola White 3000 zero sugar in 2023, which is co-created by artificial intelligence.
Mm.
Yeah, so they explain its taste as a futuristic flavor. Then what
Mm.
is futuristic flavor? So it's artificially fruity, like a lollipop, and the aftertaste is more of like a caramel or vanilla flavors. So
Mm.
it's unhealthy taste, but it sounds also great. And also many people want to experience because it's unusual cases, right? So my question is, do you guys think that AI can replace human in an intuitive task like we just saw, recipe creation from taco, and also the beverage production, so which have been traditionally taken by humans? Do you guys think that AI can replace human?
Mm. Ah, sort of.
Yeah, so this is my question and this is my research. So, and my answer is kind of yes. In the following slide, I will show you why I said yes.
You
So I
know, the
believe,
coming conference, I am going to offer the smart tourism conference. I also using ChatGPT for drawing the cover page, and which is quite acceptable, and creativity.
Right. I also agree. I also
Uh,
agree.
yes.
And also the following slide also, yeah, support what Dr. Ku mentioned and what I mentioned. So I believe many of you use ChatGPT for different purpose. So this is what I actually use. So I said, draw a person who feels sad. So this is about actually intuitive and hedonic aspect, right? So which we traditionally consider the area where human usually take that AI cannot replace, right? Because intuitive and subjective area. So after I asked, draw a person who feels sad, they analyze, they provided serious consideration, face expression and posture, environmental lighting and color scheme and appearance. It sounds creepy or exciting. It sounds exciting, and yeah, they suggest very interesting picture, right? ChatGPT, do you feel sad? Do you think this picture is sad or this guy is sad? Yeah. Right. AI can replace, and actually AI can take on the intuitive task. And also, don't forget to say thank you, because which can increase their performance, right? They like you if you say thank you, then yeah, you're welcome, and which potentially you can get the better responses, right? Yeah, back to other one. Today, ChatGPT can draw a happy person. Yeah, I also ask again, draw a person who feels sad, who feel happy. So they also use the same algorithm and criteria, and yeah, yeah. Let's generate the image with this detail. So right, yeah, happy or not? Yeah, right, definitely. As you can see, AI and algorithm, yeah, can successfully replace, and they perform well, right? So that's why AI can tackle and deal with the intuitive and subjective task. So move to my key area and current ongoing research. So my research is artificial intelligence in the kitchen. So can human be replaced in a recipe creation? Is considered traditionally a human roles. It's a subjective and intuitive task. And food production is simply cooking, it followed by the recipe. So it's considered an objective task. So yeah, intuitively, so AI can take all the things like I just showed, right? AI can take a intuitive and subjective task. So that's why their recipe, it will be good, right? Because I just showed that the Dallas based taco, they use the ChatGPT to come up with the taste taco, and also Coca-Cola as well. And also food production, they usually require the accuracy and the standardization. So that's why, which definitely AI can tackle, right? So this is what I want to do, and I will introduce and explain our rationale, our experimental design. So this is our ongoing research. So today I'm gonna share the three studies, although we have another additional studies considering the moderator, but today I briefly explain this concept. So based on the consideration of the episodic journey, but our study is mainly focusing on the service encounter, but back of the office. And then AI powered robots. So let's look at it. So here's the research gap. What made me study this research? So like I mentioned, most of study looking at the front of office of front of house operation. However, as I just show the example and ChatGPT example, AI can definitely be used in the back of house operation. However, yeah, empirical study mainly focus on the front of house operation. So that's why we would like to know AI's involvement in a specific backup operation in the two distinctive roles. Recipe creation, consider the subjective task, and the food production, which is considered the objective task. So let's get it one by one.
Here's one question.
Yeah.
Currently, there are a lot of the YouTube contents on Korean food. We have two major types of food. One is street food in Korea, tteokbokki, something like that. And another is a traditional food like the 된장찌개, kimchi sort of things. So anyway, the foreign visitors are very passionately have and enjoying the street food, and that probably they are. I'm looking for something research trend like food and mukbang and YouTube contents, and and I haven't thought about this recipe creation by AI, but probably this recipe creation about Korean food, like a street food and mainstream food, uh, connecting to the YouTube and the contents, is kind of a very tremendous creativeness we may look for, I guess.
Right. Yeah, that's good point, which I also want to mention later on, because the different level of service, such as the whether it's the contact is the fast food restaurant or fine dining restaurant, such as the Michelin 3-star restaurant, and also like I mentioned, street food restaurant. We have a different expectation. So if the food, the recipe created by the street food in the street food or the fine dining restaurant, then there might be some backfire or negative consequences we can expect. So that's why different context as a boundary condition would be a very important factor, which we also consider. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. And yeah, like I just mentioned, our main focus is the two distinctive roles, subjective and objective roles. Then, yeah, where that I'm gonna explain based on the theory how to explain the two distinctive rule based on a well-established theory, cognitive continuum theory based on the two feature, whether it's the surface feature and depth feature. So as you can see, the surface feature is effectively addressed through analytical approach and based on a rational or the standard and rational approach. And whereas the depth feature is better suited to intuitive and gut intuition strategy. This is based on the two depths. So that's why by applying the two features based on the theory, we can explain the subjective task, which is considered the depth feature because it requires intuition, creativity, and instinctive decision making, such as the writing a song or news article or even drawing a picture, right? This is creating the recipe creation as well. So this is considered those are the subjective tasks. And however, objective tasks, which are considered the surface feature, can be qualified and approached logically and based on their rationale and the calculation. So which is considered the food production. So that's why we argue that recipe creation is therefore identified as subjective task relying on the gut instinct and intuition, while food production, which cooking mainly guided by following the recipe, is characterized as the objective task, can be qualified, and they follow the standard process. Okay, so before we look at our rationale, I'll briefly explain the AI definition. So like I mentioned, a growing number of companies are increasingly adapted in hospitality and tourism and also other areas as well. So as you can see, the definition is any form of algorithm or statistical model perform perpetual cognitive or conversational function typical of the human mind. So it could be chatbot or AI-powered service robot. They equip with the numerous ability, perceptual, cognitive, and conversational, which are all considered the AI, which are facilitated by the technology, in particular AI. So that's why nowadays they have been adapted, not just only the the production, which follow the standard process, but also idea generation, such as, for example, music composition. As you can see, music composition. Can you imagine that? News article that they provided tons of AI roles in the subjective task. AI, yeah, right, the lyrics, and also the logo design as well, and poetry creation, right? Traditionally, those tasks are usually taken by the human. However, yeah, AI can successfully take and complete those tasks. And
Professor Him,
yeah,
however, these days we heard many news about AI image generation and composition and design sort of things. So, which is very novel experience to us, composition, logo, and poetry. However, the like a food experience, your tongue, by like a can you acceptable with the food generated by AI recipe, and like you cook the ramen a lot, and the recipe by AI, okay, you can cook the ramen with other stuff, and you can try it, okay, you can 콩나물 ramen and other ramen based on the recipe produced by AI. Do you think that is uh, uh, replaced by humans?
yeah, thank you. Yeah, that is really important, and that's what I'm gonna explain. So
Uh,
at the end,
uh,
AI cannot replace in
uh,
the recipe creation. And
uh,
then
uh,
after we taking a close look at participant reviews, like Dr. Ku mentioned, because AI cannot taste and AI cannot consider our unique
uh,
needs. So
uh,
that's why we cannot believe AI
uh,
involvement in
uh,
recipe creation,
uh,
which I also explained why
uh,
we individual have some skepticism
mhm,
about AI, although like I mentioned, in reality, and
mhm,
lots of AI can be adapted in various sectors, not just only the objective task, but also subjective tasks. But still, we have some skepticism, like Dr. Ku mentioned, whether AI can mimic our actual ability, right? So which I will explain more about that. Yeah, thank you so much,
mhm,
Dr. Ku.
mhm,
Yeah, so the following the two studies is the seminar work and ground paper, which justify and explain our argument. So can we predict the effect of AI involvement in two distinctive roles? The first one is the algorithm aversion. So if some of you are interested in artificial intelligence or technological innovation, I highly encourage you to download and look at it because
mhm,
it's the ground and seminar work why we as an individual have some skepticism. Although the AI, at the end, the technically algorithm more accurate
mhm,
predict the future than the human forecast.
mhm,
So yeah, this paper is this seminar work to explain why individuals yeah, uh, do not rely on AI than humans. So from a UPenn professor suggests this term in 2040, so algorithm aversion. So this paper published from well-established psychology journal experimental psychology. So this paper argued that in reality and technically speaking, algorithms more accurately predict the future than the human forecast, considering if we only consider their actual abilities. However, as Dr. Ku mentioned, and as I just briefly mentioned, individuals often avoid relying on technology, even when we know that they perform AI outperform the available alternatives.
mhm,
So which is the algorithm aversion, mainly due to the prevalent skepticism regarding the AI's ability to mimic and to replace the subjective and objective quality of human. So simply put is that is really AI understand my needs and wants? Is really AI can provide the personalized and tailored service by considering my individual characteristic? Their answer is no. So that's why, although we know that AI outperform than human, still we would like to prefer human in various contexts, such as the medical and also health insurance and finance and banking, etc. So they validated finding from various prediction scenarios, such as the MBA students' performance and number of airline passengers. So their finding is pretty intuitive and very straightforward that people still want human. And then based on the algorithm aversion, another very important and ground paper and seminar work published from Journal Marketing, because they provided the word-of-machine effect, which personally I really like, because you probably many of you heard and know word of mouth, yeah, right, from word of mouth from human, right? However, word of machine is that means so all the information and recommendation is suggested by AI, which is the word of machine. So can you guess what if AI provided hedonic or utilitarian recommendation, such as some hedonic or utilitarian suggestion? Yeah, and their results are pretty intuitive and interesting and understandable. So they said that AI recommender are more competent than humans in the utilitarian area. However, less competent than human recommender in the hedonic realm. So yeah, because we know that AI is capable of their cognitive ability. So that's why we are more likely to trust AI recommendation in a utilitarian and cognitive involved area. However, some hedonic area, like Dr. Ku mentioned, such whether because they cannot taste and they cannot feel and sense some nuance the situation. So that's why in that area, we're likely to choose the human over AI recommendation. So this is what we may need adopted. So based on the two paper, so we argue that. So here, so the AI involvement in recipe creation evoked negative consequences, right? Because AI cannot fully provide the tailored service and the AI cannot fully understand their needs. However, the AI's involvement in food production does not because AI follow their guidance by following the recipe creation. The AI involvement in food production does not evoke any negative consequences. So that's why my answer for this title, humans can be replaced in food production, but not recipe creation. This is our main argument. And then later on, I'm gonna explain how to attenuate the negative effect of AI involvement in recipe creation. Because like I just mentioned, we have some skepticism about AI involvement in recipe creation and subjective tasks. However, depending on the different situation, our negative perception could be attenuated. By doing so, AI can tackle this subjective task, which I will explain more about.
But this is my the comment. Recipe creation actually originally is not possible, but AI, the data correction from by data crawling massively and vastly. So somebody like the creator, food creator or recipe creators, probably they note on the website or Facebook, Instagram, on their social media, whatever, that there's probably go spread the using of AI. And then if we follow the direction or recipe one by one, the AI suggestion, and if the taste is acceptable and fantastic, then probably we are going to ask the recipe to AI. Why don't you make extra, ramen tasty or alternative stuff? So even though it's not the recipe creation, but the borrow from the originator through the AI, acquisition or process, that's gonna be possible. And another one these days, not only the food or recipe, but also we are studying on the hospitality industry. These days, personally, I take care of my mother, who is 87 years old. So definitely, my generation, we have brothers and sisters, five. So we have enough brothers and sisters to take care of my mother. But however, my generation, if I get old that much, probably I have only one son. He cannot support me, and I don't want to go to the daycare center or the senior care center. Probably I need a robot who can take care of me utilitarian way, food production and the sort of things, and also hedonic way, something, entertain me or dialogue with me, something like that. So definitely we are getting into the aging society, and definitely we need the robot and AI together for handling and solving the coming the big issue. So that's what I'm thinking. So algorithm aversion, which is very fantastic, the research topic, and algorithm taking.
Yeah, so that's really true, and that's what I totally agree. So this is the initial study, and
Okay.
this can be definitely applied because we want to look at the holistic picture based
Mm,
on the two fundamental areas, subjective task and objective task. And yeah, so yeah, that's
mm,
right.
mm.
That's really true. That's
Mm.
really true. Okay, so shall we move? Shall
Yeah,
we move?
yeah.
Yeah, so before we look, so the previous one is the main effect, how the AI involvement in the recipe creation and the food production can differentially affect customer responses. So we add the mediator uniqueness neglect, which is about the customer concern about AI's ability to consider their distinctive characteristic, which is also related to their the algorithm aversion, which play a very important role in relationship between AI's involvement and the customer responses. So we add this as a mediator. And this is our conceptual model. So as you can see, the AI involvement, there are three conditions, which I will also explain in the following the design, the study one. And our dependent variable is willingness to order, and mediator is the uniqueness neglect. So I will explain in more about the scenario.
Mm,
Yeah, so the first one is, so our main interest, the two part, the main effect, whether can human be replaced in a hypothetical restaurant. So we developed the win-win-win. So
mhm,
to reduce any sorry. Yeah, so to any the potential brand effect, and also to enhance internal validity. And so the study one is mainly use the three single factor AI involvement and the recipe creation and food production and control. So what is the food recipe creation? As you can see, this is about the recipe creation. So AI powered robot had created a unique sauce recipe, but the chef were cooking their food. So AI create the subjective task, and then chef cooking their food. So once you arrive in a casual dining restaurant, we mainly focus on the casual dining restaurant to avoid any confounding effect, including the significant impact of varying expectation of human involvement in the recipe creation and food production. Like I just talked with Dr. Cruz, whether it's the street food or fine dining restaurant, Michelin 3-star, or fast food restaurant. We just want to set the middle point as a casual dining restaurant. And then, yeah, and here's the scenario, yeah, recipe creation. And the control situation is the most usual case. The human can take all the tasks, not just only the recipe creation and the food production. And the food production is the other way. So human have created the recipe sauce, but the AI just cooking the food. Excuse me. Okay.
Can I see the back again, the research model?
Yeah.
Once again. Okay, AI environment, recipe creation, food production and control. Okay. Uniqueness regulate, willing to order. Why particularly put the uniqueness variable into your model?
Uniqueness neglect. Yeah, so this is about that because the uniqueness neglect is effectively explain why we have some skepticism and concern about AI's ability. Uniqueness neglect is about missing their distinctive characteristics in circumstances. So that's why uniqueness neglect is it's about their concern negatively, whether it's their concern about AI's ability, which is it's about the uniqueness neglect.
Okay. Oh, good. This is I don't know. I just got idea the DV, dependent variable, willingness to order. Okay, it's good. But like, how about the acceptable to, acceptable to my menu?
Oh yeah, that's
like we are always talking about AI adoption and IT adoption sort of things.
Yeah.
So willingness to order is kind of a, actually is buying something or have in mind. But in this stage, we have very skeptical on AI recipe, recommendation sort of things. So in this stage is rather than willingness to order, but we are humanly acceptable that AI, recipe and food production.
Yeah,
it's not a big thing. So, but that's very good idea. Very good idea.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, acceptance adoption is also very important dependent variable. Thank you so much. And yeah, our result is pretty intuitive and very clear. So as you can see, the willingness order is the control variables is to the highest willingness order because it's because human can create food. Yeah, we like it. And however, recipe creation
I see
evokes the negative consequences, right? And however, interestingly, food production, if the service robot, AI powered robot, just follow the AI, the human recipe, just cook, then does not evoke negative consequences. So they do not show the significant differences between the controls scenario condition and food production. So that means human can be replaced in a food production. However, recipe creation cannot, human AI cannot take. This is what we found based on I just mentioned the algorithm aversion and the word of machine effect. And this is our dependent variable. And the uniqueness neglect is if the lower value is better because it's about their customers' concern and skepticism about AI's ability. So that's why the control situation, right? If a human can take all the tasks, then we believe and we trust the food. So that's why it's lower, it shows the lower level of uniqueness. However, if the AI can take the recipe creation, we as a customer build some skepticism, whether the food is really considered my taste or some other unique things. So that's why it shows the significant differences between the two conditions.
Okay, Prof. Kim, got a question. like AI environment. This one is a recipe creation. This is a utilitarian production. This is a more idea generation, and this is a control group, which is a human, probably, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so very obvious. We are likely to place an order, the food made by human, which is very obvious. Second, we believe, these days automation and food production and the factory production. Anyway, the production is already acceptable to the people because it's a processing. It's acceptable. So it's a little bit, lower than the control group. And again, recipe creation, it is very, very new idea and novelty. We never imagined before AI recipe creation. So probably is obviously lower than the food production. But if I are a reviewer, this is obvious, and this is also obvious. Like AI involvement, the recipe creation, uniqueness, legalist, we concern, little more, less concern, less concern. So actually, if I critique your paper, we have to think about, okay, even though we're using recipe creation by AI and is regulated, we don't concern much about AI recipe creation. And if so that if we find out the other opposite direction like that, there's much interesting results. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's really good point. So our initial start is whether, because AI can be replaced not just only objective tasks, but also subjective tasks, such as the taco or Coca-Cola recipe. We want to demonstrate it, whether if the AI can be utilized in the subjective task, then it does really evoke some negative consequences, which is really true. However, it never examined in this context. This is our main effect. So in the following studies, we want to attenuate this negative effect of the AI involvement in recipe creation, because as Dr. Ku mentioned, it's pretty straightforward. However, more important thing is how we can utilize AI in a subjective task, in particular recipe creation, by considering boundary condition or moderator effect, which would be definitely create some theoretical and practical implication, which we are working on it. And in the study 3, I will share one condition to attenuate this negative effect at the end. AI can also be utilized in recipe creation by considering some additional cues, which I will also share it. But yeah, this is pretty right. So yeah, it's pretty short. It's straightforward. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, yeah, mediator roles. So I briefly explain about this part. So we have 3 conditions: the control and food production and recipe creation. So we use the multi-categorical approach by adopting the indicator coding. So based on the finding, we shows the negative impact of the uniqueness neglect differ between the control and the recipe creation, because in particular recipe creation condition evoke the negative consequences. So that's why they show the significant differences through the mediator roles, the uniqueness neglect. However, the 2 condition, which is the food production and control condition, do not show any significant relationship. So we find the mediator role, partial mediator roles of the uniqueness neglect in study 1. And then Study 2, we validated the finding in a real restaurant context. So study 1, we developed a hypothetical brand to reduce some brand effect which in a control situation. And we in study 2, to increase their external validity, we use the actual brand Buffalo Wild Wing. So all the process are the same. The recipe creation and food production and control. And the results almost similar. So recipe creation provided the negative consequences and the uniqueness, higher levels of the uniqueness neglect. So which is pretty straightforward and understandable. And then the study 3, an additional study, we want to focus how the AI involvement in the recipe creation, the effect of AI involvement in the recipe creation can cause the positive evaluation, because in the study 1 and 2, we demonstrated that if the AI take the recipe creation, customers are not likely to order the menu which create where the recipe created by AI. So our main focus is how we can attenuate the negative effect of AI involvement in recipe creation. So this is our.
Hyunsu, how about this? Think about the photo study. This is a taco, right? And American fast food. So the different type of food, like Korean food is pretty much a very creative food, and pretty much is a very, very dependable by one individually, right? But like a fast food, hamburger and taco is pretty much a standard and a very standardization process. So if the AI propose like a taco, and they neglect probably less than the original food, like human environment. So if you put the type of food, a standard fast food between the other original food, like a kimchi jjigae, whatever, and probably the negligence would be very different. So in this time, probably you may further study of that food, different type, and finding out negligence difference depending on the type of food. That would be your own finding. That's my idea.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we consider the 2 different contexts, so fast food restaurant. So we do not expect too much about their food. So if they provided enough quality and the food, because at an affordable price, we are okay. It doesn't matter who create the recipe. So that's why in the fast food restaurant context, if the menu is the recipe is created by AI, it does not negatively affect our customer evaluation. However, if in a different context, in particular, fast food, a fine dining restaurant, and the Michelin star restaurant, you know what? You need to pay more than $1,000 for a meal for 3 hours. So we have huge expectation, and also we consider who is the main chef, right? Because they promote who create the menu, and also they have some brand essence and the originality as well. So in that case, the fine dining restaurant and Michelin 3-star restaurant, regardless of any context, such as the recipe creation and even the food production, if AI can tackle those tasks, then we got annoyed. Yeah, we will get annoyed, right? We pay more than $1,000, then AI can make a food or create a recipe. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I expect that it doesn't make sense, because we want to expect some human interaction and human vibe and environment. So that's why, and also we want to be treated in a nice way. So that's why if AI can take any aspects, then regardless of any task, even the objective task, then it does not negatively affect. However, if you take a close look at the Michelin star restaurant, they also have a different variation, not just only the classic, but also some of the categories, the innovation and modern and the modern style. So even though we think that even though fine dining restaurant, their brand identity is positioned as the innovation or contemporary, then customers have a lower expectation and also their willingness to accept the AI's adoption in a various tasks. So that's why depending on the task context, and also context is very important, which I will also talk more about that. And also as a boundary condition, yeah, this is pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay. And yeah, so last one. So because this is our ongoing project, I will briefly introduce how we can attenuate the negative effect of AI involvement in recipe creation, particularly just recipe creation, because in study 1 and 2, we already demonstrated that AI can replace the human in food production. We want to know whether AI can replace in a subjective task and recipe creation. So we mainly use the unique consideration cues based on a previous study. So what if the restaurant or the server provided some cue that AI can consider your uniqueness or your consideration? Then because all the decision is based on customer bias, and I already explained that AI is capable of doing so in not just only the objective task, but also subjective task. But because of the algorithm aversion and word of machine effect and our humans bias, we do not want a situation where AI can tackle a particular situation and task in particular subjective task. Then what if we add the one particular cues to reduce and delete the human bias, which is the uniqueness consideration cue. So which I also show you about that. So in the study 3, our main focus is the AI recipe creation. So that's why we have the 3 conditions: recipe creation and recipe creation with a uniqueness consideration cue and control. We do not include the food production. Again, so we select a casual dining restaurant, Apple Grill Bar, which is one of the popular and general casual dining restaurant in the United States. And I show you the scenario. So the recipe creation with the uniqueness consideration cue is almost identical and the same with the recipe creation, except for that the server explained that AI robot has been trained by observing and learning from human chef cooking and demonstrated and cooking video. And by doing so, they are able to sense their individual's needs and wants. So we want to reduce the human bias by giving some cues. By doing so, we want to know whether AI's involvement in recipe creation can potentially create the positive responses. And yeah, so we find that, so recipe creation, so yeah, it's pretty the same way. So recipe creation, negative outcome. However, if we provided the potential cue that AI sense and detect human needs and wants, then customers are likely to choose the AI, the menu where the menu is the recipe created by AI. So this is what we found. However, as Dr. Ku mentioned, and this is our ongoing project, so there are variety of the moderator and the boundary condition, not just only the service sector, but also we consider such as the human identity threat. So you remember I showed the open ChatGPT picture. So if I just simply ask, just draw a person who feels sad, so it does not take too much time. Just if we give us 3 minutes, they create a nice picture. But I would like to ask, do you feel threat? Do you feel comfortable? Or do you feel uncomfortable? This is
I'm
about
uncomfortable,
right? So yeah, some of you feel uncomfortable. That means you're the higher level of human threat group, because we feel uncomfortable because AI ultimately replace our roles, right? We cannot, we cannot accept that. However, the situation is kept changing. And if that's the case, so although we try our best to attenuate or reduce any human bias, for those who have a higher level of human threat, then they are not likely to accept the products provided by the AI. However, if some of you feel comfortable and feel excited because you feel you can utilize AI in any other products or other situation, then you are a lower level of human threat group. Then if that's the case, let's imagine that the food is the recipe created by AI. You feel excited, right? Because your willingness to accept the change and transition in the world, right? So that's why depending on your characteristic, which is just one of the example of the human identity threat, or your willingness to accept the innovation, which could potentially consider as a moderator. Okay, so that's good. Yeah,
This
here's
is
the
very interesting, paper. I got idea from your paper, which is, is fantastic. Actually, the very reason we are inviting very good researcher like this got an idea from his presentation. And, I'm doing a lot these days, AI, the recommendation and the acceptance sort of things. Uh, uh, your ideas give me another, uh, uh, research ideas, which is
right.
fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, I'm also happy to work with you, and I know you
Uh,
work on the AI adoption in various contexts. And
yes,
I'm
yes.
also interested in
Uh,
what if AI recommend tourism destination hedonic products or utilitarian
yes,
products?
yes.
Yeah, and how
As
we
as you
evaluate.
know, we have a big trendy revolution because of AI. So every single, traditional perspective can be modified by AI, comparison with the humans, comparison with the human and AI hybridity. So it's a
Mhm.
huge chance and opportunity for researchers jump into AI perspective of research. AI engineering is not our scope. AI usage, AI marketing, AI, the promotion and then strategic point. That's our area. So always I addressing to my students say, this is a chance and opportunity time. But usually the students they don't know when is timing and opportunity. And so that's why you need some kind of mentor and your advisor or who can you know guide you, guide me. So this is great.
Yeah, thank you so much. I totally agree. So if you are some of you interested in artificial intelligence, I just briefly explain the current body of knowledge
Mhm,
related to the algorithm aversion. So I
mhm,
just explained that algorithm aversion, although the AI outperform
mhm,
human
mhm,
objectively, so the absolutely. So we have some skepticism because of our human bias. So most recent major mainstream marketing, they try their best to reduce their algorithm aversion. To overcome algorithm aversion, it's mainly about unbiased, human unbiased, which is the most important body of knowledge in general marketing and general consumer research. How they, because AI is prevalent across the world and various sectors. So they know AI is outperform human. However, still people want to human. So yeah, it causes some inefficiency and problems. So that's why many marketing scholar and practitioner, they try their best to identify how to reduce the human bias. By doing so, ultimately, make customer choose AI over the other. Okay. So these are the implications for my study, and then later on, I will also share my future direction in general as a scholar and researcher. So yeah, here's implication for this study. This is timely insight whether AI can replace human in a subjective and objective task. So although we mainly focusing on the two areas, the recipe creation and food production, however, when you think about hospitality and tourism setting, and even the kitchen and the operation area, so subjective area, there are a bunch of example you can say and you can name it. For example, not just only the recipe creation, what about the plating, right? In the fine dining restaurant, plating is also like the human and intuitive aspect, right? How to decorate the food at the fine dining restaurant. Do you think AI can replace it or not? Which is definitely the subjective aspect. And the objective task, yeah, we mainly focusing on the one particular area, cooking, but there are a bunch of aspects you can think of. So yeah, not just only the this food production size, but also operational size and human resource side. There are numerous opportunities and things if you are interested in. And also we also identify at the end, identify the uniqueness consideration Q as a boundary condition and the additional condition to potentially reduce the negative effect of AI involvement in recipe creation. As Dr. Ku mentioned, this is pretty straightforward. We provided how AI involvement in recipe, how we can attenuate the negative effect of AI role. And potentially we also want to explore some other boundary condition and moderator to get the holistic picture of it. Okay.
Wow, really fantastic. Wow. Because I know you, and I saw you 10 years ago as a master degree student, and now your research capability is like a rocket, launching to the moon. You're so developing fastly, and wow, your paper publication is a top tier journals. Yeah, it's amazing. Wow, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Really.
No way. I'm still have a long way to do and long way to go, and also a lot of things I want to learn from you. Yeah, but thank you so much for saying so. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, students, please feel free to ask him about the question, research question or whatever question. No problem at all.
Oh, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and thank you for your presentation. And
Hold on. Let me. Okay. Go ahead.
It is. I think it's interesting. Like, recipe by generating AI, like 3,000 cook or to fit AI taco, and if we can eat that, then are there any precautions to consider when using recipe generated by AI? And also, if so, what factors should users take into account?
So yeah, can you say that again? The precautious factor.
Is there any pre precaution to consider when using recipe generated by AI?
Yeah. So, like I just show how AI generate the person who feels sad. So before I show the picture, they consider multiple aspects such as the appearance, attire, and all other things. So AI, the benefit and the beauty of AI is they have tons of information and they analyze in a timely manner. So that's why it's reliable. However, still we have some skepticism and bias, human bias. So that's why I would like to say that it's much safer because they gather all the information, but it does not guarantee whether it's taste or not. Yeah.
Okay. Other questions? Mhm. If not, I will ask it.
Actually, I have few slides. So if you
Uh-huh.
don't catch after I address, I have three
Sure,
slides.
sure. Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you can ask first. Yeah.
Um, uh, I know you have actively doing research on the hospitality the context, especially Airbnb. What is the big issue of Airbnb these days with AI?
Big issues in
Uh-huh.
Airbnb.
First time when I do when I starting off the Airbnb context in 2014, 15, that time it's about the Airbnb, online review and then personalization and experience sort of things. And the next stage, I'm look for the host community and and host to host. Now is Airbnb is pretty much on experience uh, in Airbnb business, like a tourism experience and something what food with the host sort of things. And now we are heading into the AI. And do you have any idea on Airbnb context about combining with AI and the Airbnb context?
Yeah. So although it's not directly related to AI, but just focusing on the online reviews, there are
Uh-huh,
very exciting research. I look at it from the
uh-huh,
market journal.
uh-huh,
So Airbnb contact is unique because, as you know, they
uh-huh,
have a triadic relationship by
mhm,
combining not just only the host, but also the customer and
mhm,
the platform as well. And the
mhm,
one unique the role and actor is still definitely host because they are partial employee. So
mhm,
they can be a customer, but at the same time, they serve as a brand ambassador, right?
mhm,
So
mhm,
by focusing on the two relationship between the host and the guest, so
mhm,
traditionally, customer do not think whether they will be evaluated and
mhm,
judged by the platform.
mhm,
However,
mhm,
and when you think about using Airbnb and Uber,
mhm,
so host and platform also evaluate us whether they will
mhm,
accept our request or not. So
mhm,
that's why we as a customer we also consider
mhm,
uh, our behavior and
mhm,
also whether our reviews
mhm,
can potentially affect their behavior. So
mhm,
because we also in a position where we
mhm,
also will be evaluated.
mhm.
So, but I'm not sure this is about not AI related type, but I just
How
want
about
to.
this one? I look into the Airbnb context with AI, especially. I saw the marketing promotion supported by AI. Like Airbnb host is like me is a foreign or international host, not uh, comfortable with English language. And probably the person who start off the Airbnb is not well aware of their business style, not much experience on Airbnb stuff. Then we can ask ChatGPT something important to the list or marketing promotion and advertising in English, and then they provide very well summary, to the list, marketing promotion and English perfection sort of things. So in my case, if we adopt Airbnb as a host, it's very much helpful and helpful not only but the English version, but also marketing tactics, strategy sort of things. So, you know, so what do you think about that kind of research idea?
Yeah, that sounds interesting, and that sounds interesting. And in addition to what you mentioned, and
Uh,
also the way AI as a host behave in a certain way, such as if AI is arrogant, not sure it's possible, or in a situation such as the service failure situation or embarrassing situation versus human host, then customers are not likely to feel embarrassed or feel bad because AI have no human mind and no intention. So that's why if service failure happen by AI, then we are likely to relieve and not likely to blame the situation caused by AI. But yeah, definitely it'll be very interesting AI enabled host and the situation.
Okay, good. Any question from student side? No.
I have
Okay,
question.
good. Go ahead.
I have a question that cites your research. The same fit as research production also applies to the tourism interaction. To the tourism industry, for example, tourism product development, not recommendation development, with consideration of uniqueness help alleviate negative perception in AI tourism product development.
Yeah, I understand what you asked. So thanks for your question. So, but depending on the characteristic of the product, the hospitality offerings, so such as if the product itself is more like a utilitarian aspects, then it does not heavily negatively affect the consequences created by AI. However, if about hedonic or experiential base, such as the creating the tour, the itinerary for the trip. So it's hard to say it's the utilitarian task because they need to consider experience and consider your needs and wants. So that's why it's definitely depending on the context and the situation, the observed effect will be different.
Thank you.
Okay, good. She's a master degree under my supervision, and I'm pushing my student to speak out in this seminar.
Yeah, so that's good because when I was in master degree, I barely speak English, no speaking at all. So it's totally fine. It's totally fine. Barely speak English.
I'm asking my students to proactively behavior, not the negatively or inactively. We have a lot of students here in this room, and everybody just sit in quiet sitting,
Yeah,
which is I don't like actually, because we, I know the Hyunsu, your life is pretty much challenging and looking for your PhD advisor, and then you work hard with your advisor and then successfully got PhD and become a professor. That's the way of a successful life. I am totally agree with. If you sit quiet, there's nothing happen. Nothing happen. I always told my student, especially my lab, if you sit quiet, that's not good. Just keep asking and then finding a good partner or advisor or mentor who can guide you to your future.
That's really important.
I told this one. I don't know you know the fan palangebi in Korean. Okay, without wind, there cannot the wing of palangebi fan. That is your condition. Then okay, I accept the condition. No wind, so I cannot make wing flying. No. You run and then flying, and the fan is go flying, and so that's what I'm thinking. 바람이 없으면 사람이 달리면 바람기가 돌죠.
맞습니다.
Okay. Any students? Question? Comment? Idea? Oh no. Okay, Professor Kim, can you introduce the 3 slide more?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
10 years. Okay, good. I'm learning from you a lot. Oh, really?
Yeah, thank you for saying so.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is my last part, the future direction, future research direction. So
Okay.
if you want to learn more about particular topic, I encourage you to work on the bibliometrics or review paper, because if you start working on it, you need to read all the papers. So this paper I particularly work on during my PhD. So I read more than 1,000 articles from 3 decades. So because I'm interested in customer experience and also which is related to customer touch point and all other things. And another one is, yeah, the artificial intelligence, not just only looking at the review or academic paper, but also industry practices, news article, and also Dr. Koo also involved in this paper. We ask you your feedback, so expert reviews. So we provided some numerous questions. And based on the 2 papers, so which already include numerous questions that I'm interested in, so I will just briefly explain the 4 key research direction that I'm interested in. So yeah, the first one is the what generic and the context-specific factor contribute to customer acceptance of AI, which I briefly explained, such as the moderator factor and the boundary condition, whether the task itself is utilitarian-based or hedonic-based or subjective or objective. Yeah, so depending on the context, so our expectation will be different, so which is pretty exciting. And then, is there any ideal balance between AI automated activities? Because my research is mainly looking at the 2 distinctive roles. Then what about AI assisted, human-led versus AI-led versus human assistant? So in a single roles, in a single task, human can assistant versus AI assistant. So that's why by looking at the dynamic and nuance, so there is the negative consequences of AI involvement could be different. So that's why how to make a balance is very important. And
That's
also,
right.
yeah. And different stage as well. So So my study looking at the service encounter situation. Then what about the service before purchase or after purchase? Different the entire service stage by looking at the longitudinal data or different stage would be also very interesting. And also, how should organization determine when and how to replace human decision making with AI this situation, which is also very important in the mainstream marketing, like I just briefly mentioned, depend whether if the situation such as the embarrassed situation, if customer face the embarrassed situation, then if the AI serve you, then you less likely to feel embarrassed because AI will not judge you, right? If the AI and the service failure situation, we are not likely to blame AI because they have no intention, right? So there are very exciting condition and look the boundary condition you can think of. Yeah. Okay, so those are what I prepared. So thank you so much.
Yes. You know what, like 1995, when the internet comes to my life, our life, actually a lot of the traditional researchers, they starting their research based on internet and the comparison with the internet and all kind of things coming from traditional the research model and then comparing with the internet about the modern research context. That was the time 1995 through the about 10 years. And again, there when 2000, in the middle of 2000, when the YouTube, social media comes to our life, people rushing into the social media and then do the research with the social media beyond the internet. And again, 2007 or 2010, the smartphone comes to our life. and the people rushing into the smartphone and smartphone apps, how to replace the process with the mobileless, wireless sort of things. And again, the like the COVID-19 is comes to our life, and people rushing to the COVID-19 context, like a distance context and seamless and sort of things. And again, suddenly the ChatGPT 22 comes to our life. People heading into the AI and ChatGPT, comparing with the social media, internet, traditional model sort of things. I think once again, it's a huge chance for you, because the condition is all applied to all the same, to the all discipline, all researchers, all professors. Once the AI comes to our life in 2022, there's not such a difference. Only the one condition is ChatGPT comes to our life. So to a person who choosing and pursuing the kind of a new revolution and new things, there's a chance and the opportunity, I guess. So Professor Hyunsu, you are paved the way for your life, and I guess you someday will be a great researcher and leading scholar in our domain. Hopefully someday have a chance to work with you.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any question about life or okay.
I have a question actually.
Mm.
First of all, I very thank you for your amazing information. And as I mentioned, Professor Ku, we can replace AI and robots for creating recipe, but not in special food and recipes. For fast food, it's work, but in special food, I think it's not, because when I cooking and when chef cooking, we convey and energy and love and innovation. And I think actually, I don't know it's right or it's correct or not correct, but I think we cannot convey or love or energy in innovation, especially in food design, with robots or in brand restaurant. I think it's work, but in personal restaurant is not work it, since every personal restaurant has a special and unique recipe for every food, and it's a little different, but it's when people guess that the food, it's very different. In my opinion, I don't know it's right or not.
Yeah, I totally agree. And actually, those are our initial motivation for this study. So when you think about recipes, so we said very secret and 3-generation passing recipe will not be disclosed. So that is very intuitive and human gut intuition. So that's why we would like to challenge whether AI can take this very original area where human usually traditionally take. So those are actually our initial motivation to challenge the method.
Actually, it's like a painting. People, it's a very more value for your painting with handmade rather than the painting with machine or robots.
That's true. That's so true. Thank you so much. Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. Like a once again, the AI, we don't make AI. We don't creative AI. We social scientists, we are looking at how the world is changing, especially individual level, consumer level, and form level, and context level, even destinations. So we have to investigate on the role of AI in our context, how the things transformed by AI, and how stage by stage with AI, without AI, and how customer react about AI, and then proactively, reactively sort of things. This is all research question and an issue of our domains, especially like what I mentioned is a Korean society or Japan or whatever, is we going fastly aging society. Aging society is definitely, we need the laborers, and we need a robot which can speak interactively with me and sort of things. So we are here is a social scientist. We have to look at those kind of phenomenon specifically. That's all about the research question, and beyond the research question, we have to learn the methodology. Without methodology, idea is it's just an idea. Idea should be a product, research product, like Professor Hyunsu. He currently produces many top tier journal publications, which is a tough game, and very much congratulations and envy you and jealousy.
I also respect and yeah, always learn from you. Thank you so much.
Okay, I respect your ongoing project and efforts and challenging. Hopefully, we get together in academia and collaboration each other, and not only the professors and students, we are colleagues just now. Okay, thank you very much. Even though we are midterm examination period, we are doing this kind of a research activity. This is gonna be payoff someday for your future, to me as well. Professor Hyunsu Kim, I'm very thankful to your contribution and dedication to our students and me, and I look forward to see you in face-to-face sooner or later.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Yeah, good. Yeah, have a good day.